Good afternoon, students. After a short break, after 2 weeks, before 2 weeks, we completed till first module, I think seventh unit or sixth unit, like that, like free consent, then legacy of the parties, then lawful object, what is that? So we will look into that once again. So I think the seventh unit in the sense means that is what restitution as well as void agreements. What is meant by a void agreement as well as what is the restitution? Under that, agreements, the meaning of which is uncertain. The main content is uncertain, then that will be a void agreement that we see in the last class. Then, excuse me, another one is a wagering agreement or a wager. What is a wagering agreement? A wagering agreement means a bet, like pandayam vekkuka. The event may or may not happen. That bet may or may not happen. The thing they are going to bet, that may or may not happen. So that is the wagering agreement or a wager. That is the second case. So agreement, the meaning of which is uncertain, and also a wagering agreement that leads to void agreement. And another case is what is meant by a restitution? Restitution, the principle of restitution. When a contract becomes void, the party who has received any benefit under it must restore to the other party or must compensate the other party by the value of the benefit. So that is the restitution. Such a case, it is called the restoration of the benefit, means it is to be restored. The benefit is to be restored to the other member. So the benefit is to be restored to the other member. Other member in the sense means the other party who is giving some monetary benefit. So that is the principle of restitution or restitution itself. So that is the case with the restitution. Principle of restitution is carried in the following situation. A party rescinding a voidable contract shall, if he or has received any benefit under it, shall restore to the person from whom he received it. ആരിൽ നിന്നാണോ ബെനിഫിറ്റ് കിട്ടിയത്, that thing should be restored. Restored in the sense means പഴയ സ്ഥാനത്ത് തിരിച്ചു വെക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് അതിന്റെ ഏകദേശം മീനിങ്. അപ്പൊ അതിന് പഴയ സ്ഥാനത്ത് തിരിച്ചു വെക്കുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിന് ഇവിടെ എന്താണ്? ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ടു ബി റീപേ ബാക്ക്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ പ്രിൻസിപ്പിൾ ഓഫ് റെസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻ. അതാണ് ഓർക്കേണ്ടത്. ഓർ when an agreement is discovered to be void or when a contract becomes void, any person who has received any advantage under such agreement or a contract is bound to restore it or to make compensation for it to the person from whom he received it. ആരിന്ന് ബെനിഫിറ്റ് കിട്ടിയോ അവർക്ക് ഒന്നെങ്കിൽ ആ ബെനിഫിറ്റ് തന്നെ തിരിച്ചു കൊടുക്കുക, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കോമ്പൻസേറ്റ് ഈച്ച് അതർ, കോമ്പൻസേറ്റ് ടു ദാറ്റ് പർട്ടിക്കുലർ പേഴ്സൺ. അതാണ് റെസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഇതുകൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ വേർഡ് മീനിങ് ഓഫ് റെസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻ. റീസ്റ്റോറിംഗ് ദ ഓൾഡ് തിങ് ഓർ ദ ഓൾഡ് സ്റ്റാറ്റസ്. That is the case with the restitution. So this is the void agreement where the thing is uncertain. The thing is uncertain means the purpose to which that contract is to be maintained, that is to be uncertain, then the contract becomes a void one. Another one is wagering agreement or a wager. Wagering agreement in the sense means simply a bet. ഒരു ബെറ്റ് വെക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ ആ ബെറ്റ്, the event may or may not happen. The event with regard to that may or may not happen. That is the case with regard to which one? Void agreement. So this is belongs to the unit number 7. The next unit is what? Unit 8. This all belongs to module 1. Unit 8 is what? Contingency contract. Very important part. Please have a look into contingency contract or contingent contract. What is meant by a contingent contract? So a contingent contract means what? In the area of the performance of the contract, generally contract can be classified into two things, absolute as well as contingent contract. So what is meant by an absolute contract? What is meant by a contingent contract? That is, it means. Okay, we will look into that. Contingent as well as absolute contract, two types of contracts. So one is contingent contract, absolute contract. Contingent as well as absolute. So what is these two? Absolute contract is a contract in which the parties must perform their promises in all events. എല്ലാ തലങ്ങളിലും എല്ലാ സംഭവങ്ങളിലും the parties, those who belongs to this contract, has to perform their thing. Thing in the sense means what? Perform their promise. അവരുടെ promise, അവരെ എന്താണ് വാക്കാൽ പറഞ്ഞത് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ what is the promise they are going to met with the other party, that should be undertaken there. That is the case with regard to absolute contract. അപ്പോൾ contract in which parties must perform their promises in all events is called which one? Absolute contract. So absolute contract is a contract where parties must perform their promises in all events. So parties must perform their promises. While the other one is what? A contingent contract. What is meant by that? It is a contract to do or not to do something if some event collateral to such contract does or does not happen. ഒന്നെങ്കിൽ there is also a contract where to do or not to do, ചെയ്യുവോ ചെയ്യാതിരിക്കുവോ, to do or not to do something, എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു കാര്യം ചെയ്യുവോ ചെയ്യാതിരിക്കുവോ. So in such a case, to do or not to do something if some event that is collateral to the contract, അങ്ങനെ ആ കോൺട്രാക്റ്റുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്ന എന്തെങ്കിലും ആയിരിക്കും, that is collateral to the contract, does or does not happen, may or may not happen. That is the case with regard to contingent contract. So a contract to do or not to do something if an event or if some event collateral to such contract does or does not happen. Section 31, very important, please note down. Section 31, contingent contract, where a contract to do or not to do something if some event collateral to such contract does or does not happen. For example, A contracts to pay B rupees 10,000 rupees 10,000 if B's house burned. So A promises to B that he will pay rupees 10,000 if B's house is burned. So this is a contingent contract where if this is happening, which one? B's house is burned, then only A need to pay rupees 10,000 to B. So in this case, it is obvious that there is an element of uncertainty as to whether B's house would be burned or not. കത്തിയെങ്കിൽ ബിയുടെ വീട് കത്തിയെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ എ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുള്ളൂ? 10,000 രൂപ ബിക്ക് he promises to pay. So illegal, this is uncertainty in the event. കത്തുന്നില്ല, so A need not to pay anything. So that is the case with regard to this. So this is called a contingent contract. Means what is the event happen here that is collateral to the contract? Collateral to a contract is that A agrees to pay B rupees 10,000 when B's house is burned. In this case, B's house is not burned and then A need not to pay anything to B. So that is the first case. So that is the contingent contract. If the house is burned, A has to pay, and if it does not, he need not pay. So what is the issue here? The event is collateral to the contract. Understand? The event in the sense B's house is burned, that is collateral to the contract, then in such a case, it is a case with regard to contingent contract. Understand? So this uncertainty as to the performance of an obligation is there in every contingent contract. So uncertainty is there. Uncertainty of any event is there with regard to the contingent contract. Clear, students? Contingent contract means there is uncertainty, means whether the thing is to be happen. Thing in the sense the event is to be happen or not. If the event happened, then only the other party need to pay to or need to perform his duty. So that is the contingent contract. Understand? With this example, A promised to pay B rupees 10,000 if B's house is burned. Neither B's house is burned nor A need to pay anything to B, because if the house is burned, A need to pay to B. If it not, then no need to pay anything. That is the contingent contract. So understand the thing. Then we will move forward again, proceeding to the other. A contract contingent on the happening of a certain event is not a contingent contract. For example, a promise to pay an amount on the death of a person is not a contingent contract. Excuse me, as the death of a person is an event which is certain to happen. Death is certain to happen, but on which day? That doesn't know. Correct or not? So, in such a case, a promise to pay an amount on the death of a person. When that death comes, അത് ആർക്കെങ്കിലും പറയാൻ പറ്റുമോ? ഇല്ല. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് an amount on the death of a person is not a contingent contract, since the death of a person is an event which is certain to happen. എപ്പോഴും നടക്കാം, പക്ഷേ എപ്പം? See, that is the thing. So that is not a contingent contract, but this is a contingent contract where uncertainty, event is certain, then it is not a contingent contract. Because if the event is happen, the person need to pay that promise. Clear? So that is the contingent contract where uncertainty of the event is there. That is collateral to the contract. So that is a contingent contract, while absolute means parties must perform their promise in all the events. Clear? So we will proceed to the characteristics of a contingent contract. What are the characteristics with regard to a contingent contract? So everywhere when a new thing is to be started, everywhere when a new thing is to be started, then there is essential characteristics like void agreements, then free consent, where what all things are there? Free consent, coercion, undue influence, everything is having their own characteristics or essentials. Like this also having essential characteristics of a contingent contract, where there must be a contract to do or not to do something or anything. To do or not to do. ചെയ്യോ ചെയ്യാതിരിക്കുവോ, it depends on the event happen. ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ എക്സാമ്പിൾ പറയാണ്, A promised to pay B, while what is the issue here there? B's house is burned, then A promised to pay such and such amount. If B's house is burned and A is not willing to pay, it is not a contingent contract, because the event is happened there. Based on the event, the promise is to be undertaken. Okay, so the burning of the house, and based on that, the promising of the payment of rupees 10,000 from A to B is there, then it is a contingent contract. Here, what is that? To do or not to do anything or something. ചെയ്യോ ചെയ്യാതിരിക്കുകയോ ചെയ്യാം. This is the first one essential agreement characteristic with regard to a contingent contract. A contract to do or not to do something. Second one, depends on the happening or non-happening of an uncertain event. So depends on happening or non-happening of an uncertain event. Depends on the happening or non-happening of an uncertain event. Maybe the event happens, may not be the event happening. സംഭവം നടക്കാം, സംഭവം നടക്കാതിരിക്കാം. Based on that, to do or not to do. If the event is happening, to do the thing. If the event is not happening, not to do the thing. That is, in case A's house is burned, sorry, B's house is burned, A need to pay or A agreed to pay that much amount to B. If the house is not burned, no need to pay anything to B. So that is depends on the happening of an event as well as the non-happening of an event to do the promise or not to do the promise. Clear? So that is second point. First point is what? To do or not to do something. Something in the sense means the promise. Second one depends on the happening or non-happening of an uncertain event. And the third, the event must be collateral to the contract. Collateral to the contract. So what is this collateral? What is meant by collateral? Means ആ ഒരു ഹാപ്പനിങ് ഓഫ് ദ ഇവന്റ് അതിനെ ആശ്രയിച്ചാണ് എന്തിരിക്കുന്നത്, ആ കോൺട്രാക്റ്റിന്റെ വർക്കിംഗ് ഇരിക്കുന്നത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ പ്രോമിസ് ഇരിക്കുന്നത് ആ കോൺട്രാക്റ്റില്. അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം കണ്ട എക്സാമ്പിളില് ബിയുടെ ഹൗസ് ബേൺ ചെയ്തു, അതാണ് ഇവന്റ്. ദാറ്റ് ഇവന്റ് ഈസ് കൊളാട്രൽ ടു ദ കോൺട്രാക്ട് ബിക്കോസ് എ agreed to pay B that much amount. Clear? A agreed to pay B that much amount, and based on that, this is collateral to the contract. Which one? If the house is burned, then A agrees to pay that much amount to B. If it is not, no need to pay. So since the event is collateral to the contract, contingent contract happens. Clear? So to do or not to do something based on the happening or non-happening of an event, and that event must be collateral to the contract. Understand? Clear? So next is what? Rules regarding contingent contract. So please write, again I am telling, the sections in this law paper, please write in another book because this is very important. Section 31 is what? Contingent contract. Then rules regarding contingent contract. Excuse me. Section 31 is what? Contingent contract. Then 32 to 36. 32 to 36 of the Contract Act provides some rules regarding contingent contract. So what are the rules regarding contingent contract? One is contingent contract on the happening of an event. Contingent contract on the happening of an event. ഒരു സംഭവം നടക്കുന്നു, അതിന്റെ ബേസിലുള്ള contingent contract. So contingent contract to do or not to do anything if an uncertain future event happens, then it cannot be enforced by law unless and until that event has happened. Then if the event becomes impossible, such contract become void. Section 32. This is the section 32 where contingent contract on the happening of an event. ഒരു event, ഒരു സംഭവം നടക്കുകയാണ്, അതിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്താണ് എന്ത് നടക്കുന്നത്? The contingent contract to do or not to do the thing. For example, A makes a contract with B to buy B's horse if A survives C. This contract cannot be enforced until C dies in A's lifetime. Where എന്താ പറഞ്ഞ ഇവിടെ? A makes a contract with B. So A with B makes a contract. Means A and B entering into a contract where to buy, purchase what? B's horse. ബിയുടെ കുതിര മേടിക്കാനായിട്ട് എ തീരുമാനിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നു. ഇഫ് എ സർവൈവ്സ് സി, സിയെ ഇത് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് വേണം എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ? എയ്ക്ക് ജീവിക്കാൻ പറ്റുമെങ്കിൽ ദെൻ ബീസ് ഹോഴ്സ് ആരെടുക്കും? എ എടുക്കാമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. For that purpose, both makes a contract. Then this contract cannot be enforced until C dies in A's lifetime. എയുടെ കാലയളവിൽ എ ജീവിക്കുന്ന ആ സമയത്ത് സി മരിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ this horse cannot be owned by A, because what if A survives C, സിയുടെ മുകളിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സിയുടെ കാലയളവിൽ എക്ക് ഇത് എടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നെങ്കിലേ ഉള്ളൂ. അപ്പം ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നു സി എന്ത് ചെയ്തു, മരിക്കുകയാണ് എയുടെ കാലയളവിൽ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എ ജീവിച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന ആ സമയത്ത് സി മരിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ദിസ് കോൺട്രാക്ട് cannot be enforced because there is a clause that A is surviving in the lifetime of C. So that is the good example for contingent contract on the happening of an event. അവിടെ event എന്നാ happen ചെയ്തേ? So this contract would become void if the event becomes impossible. For example, A contract to pay a sum of money when B marries C, while C dies without being married to B. Then in such a case, the contract becomes void. A, B യുമായിട്ടൊരു കോൺട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നു, എന്താ, ഒരു a sum of money, where എന്താ കാരണം അവിടെ happening in the event എന്താണ്, B marries C, while C dies without being married to B. C മരിച്ചു പോവുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു. So the event is not happened there. അല്ലേ? Event is not happened there. Marrying എന്നുള്ള ആ ഒരു ഇവന്റ് ഇവിടെ നടക്കുന്നില്ല. കാരണം എന്താ, C മരിച്ചു പോകുന്നു. So in such a case, the contract becomes void. So this is one of the rule with regard to which one? Contingent contract, where contingent contract on the happening of an uncertain event or on the happening of an event. That is the first case. Second one is what? Contingent contract depending on the non-happening of an event. Contract depending on the non-happening of an event. So contingent contract to do or not to do anything if an uncertain future event does not happen can be enforced when the happening of the events becomes impossible and not before. Section 33, where non-happening of an event depends on the contingent contract. First is happening of an event. Second is non-happening of an event. So contingent contracts to do or not to do anything if an uncertain future event does not happen. It is cannot be going to happen in the event. In such a case also contingent contract become void one. So what is that? For example, A agrees to pay B a sum of money if a certain ship does not return and the ship is sunk. The contract can be enforced when the ship sinks and not before. So A agrees to pay a sum of money. B agrees to pay a lot of money or a sum of money, where if a certain ship does not return, പോയ ഒരു കപ്പല് തിരികെ വരാതിരിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ in the sense A Bക്ക് എന്ത് കൊടുക്കാം, agree to pay a sum of money and the ship is sunk also. Okay, then the contract can be enforced when the ship sinks. Contract നടത്താം, എന്തുകൊണ്ട്, ഷിപ്പ് തിരിച്ചു വരുന്നില്ല എന്നാ പറയുന്നത്. തിരിച്ചു വരാതിരുന്നാലാണ് that amount should be paid to B. So in this case the ship also sink. എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താ, മുങ്ങിപ്പോയി. കറക്റ്റ് ആണല്ലോ. So the contract to be enforceable under the law. അവിടെ നോൺ ഹാപ്പനിങ് ഓഫ് ദ ഇവന്റ്, തിരിച്ചു വരുന്നില്ല എന്നുള്ള ഇതാണ് ഹാപ്പനിങ്. തിരിച്ചു വരികയാണെങ്കിൽ കൊടുക്കണ്ട, പക്ഷെ ഇവിടെ തിരിച്ചു വരുന്നില്ല. പക്ഷേ വേറൊരു കാര്യമാണ് നടന്നത്, എന്താണ്, ഷിപ്പ് മുങ്ങിപ്പോയി. തിരിച്ചു വരാതിരുന്നാൽ മതിയായിരുന്നു, പക്ഷെ ഇവിടെ കേസിൽ ഷിപ്പ് മുങ്ങിപ്പോയി. So in such a case the contract will be enforceable by law. So one first case is what? Contingent contract on the happening of an event as per section 32. Section 33 is what? A contingent contract whereby non-happening of an event. Here the event is not to be going, not to be happening. Which one? If the ship doesn't come back then agrees to pay to B a sum of money by A. Here, the happening of an event is not undertaken, but another is happening. The ship sinks. So that is the second case, contingent contract upon the happening, non-happening of an event. So first case, contingent contract upon the happening of an event. ഒരു സംഭവം നടക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത്. ഇനി ആ പറഞ്ഞ എഗ്രിമെന്റ് പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യം നടക്കുന്നില്ല എങ്കിൽ that is the case with regard to which one? That is the case with regard to section 33. Contingent contract will be enforceable under the law. And next is what? A contingent contract upon the future conduct of a person. Third one, future conduct of a person. ഒരു വ്യക്തിയുടെ ഭാവിയിലേക്കുള്ള ഇത്. So, excuse me. The future contingent event consists of how a person will act at a unspecified time. That event shall be considered to have become impossible if such person does anything that renders it impossible. Then he should so act within a definite time or otherwise than under further contingencies. മനസ്സിലാകാൻ ഒരു ഇച്ചിരി പ്രയാസമുണ്ട്. So we will look into example. അതാണ് ഈ ഒരു പേപ്പറിന്റെ ഗുണം. Through the example, we can identify what is that. So, for example, A agrees to pay B a sum of money if B marries C. A agrees to pay B. What is that? If B marries C, then A agrees to pay. So, B marries C, future event going to happen in future. So, then only A agrees to pay B some amount. B marries D instead of C. Marriage of B to C must now be considered impossible, although it is possible that D may die and C may afterwards marry B. So, the future conduct of a person. അപ്പം original agreement എന്താണ്? എയും ബിയും തമ്മിൽ. If B marries C, then A agrees to pay some money to B. But it does not happen because B marry D. So, its possibility to do that particular contract is what? If D dies, then there is a chance of B marrying C. So that is the case with the future conduct of a person. Here, this is the future conduct. If D dies, then only B can marry C, and then this contract is to be valid. Understand? Original agreement endana? Original contract is if A agrees to pay B some amount of money when B marries C. So the original event happened is what? When B marries C, then A agreed to pay some amount to B. Clear? So this is not going to happen because B marries D instead of C. ആരെയാണ് കെട്ടിയത്? CA അല്ല DA ആണ് കെട്ടിയത്. അപ്പൊ എന്താ? That event should happen in the near future. എപ്പോ? When D dies. Then only there is a chance of doing this. Means marrying C by B, then the original contract will be undertaken. Clear? That is the contract contingent upon future conduct of a person. Contract contingent upon future conduct of a person. So that is the explanation is this. Future contingent event consists of how a person will act at a unspecified time, that the event shall be considered to have become impossible if such person does anything or it renders it impossible to do such an act with any definite time or otherwise than under further contingency. അപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ ഏത് ഹാപ്പനിങ് ആണ്? ഇതാണ് ഫ്യൂച്ചർ കണ്ടക്ട് ഓഫ് ദ പേഴ്സൺ. ദിസ് വൺ. If B dies, then only if D dies, then only B can marry C, and then executing the original contract. Original contract is when B going to marry C, then A will pay a sum of amount to B. It doesn't happen because B married D. There is a chance in the near future that if D dies, then only B is going to marry C and the original contract should be executed. So this is the future conduct of a person. So first case is what? Upon the contingent contract, upon the happening of an event. Second case is what? Contingent contract upon the non-happening of an event. അതായത് ഷിപ്പ് തിരിച്ചു വന്നില്ല എങ്കിൽ ഇത് ചെയ്യാം. ഇവിടെ ഷിപ്പ് തിരിച്ചു വന്നില്ല, വേറെ രീതിയിൽ അത് എന്തായി, മുങ്ങിപ്പോയി, പക്ഷെ തിരിച്ചു വന്നിട്ടില്ല. അപ്പോൾ അവിടെ എന്താണ്? It should be enforceable by law. And also this is the third case, contingent contract, future contingent contract upon the future conduct of a person. ഭാവിയിലേക്ക് അല്ലെ, ഭാവിയിൽ ആ ഒരു വ്യക്തിയുടെ പെരുമാറ്റം. അതാണ് പറഞ്ഞത്. ബി ഡിയെ മാരി ചെയ്തു, അപ്പോൾ ബി സിയെ മാരി ചെയ്യാതെ ഡിയെ മാരി ചെയ്തു. സോ ദാറ്റ് എ നീഡ് നോട്ട് പേ എനിത്തിങ് ടു ബി. If this contract is to be executed, then there is a chance of in the near future that if D dies, then only B can marry C and executing the original contract. Clear? That is the third case, section 34. So 33 is happening of the happening of an event. 32 is 31 is original contingent contract. 32 is upon the happening of an event. 33 is upon the happening of non-happening of an event, and 34 is future conduct of a person. Then we see contracts contingent upon happening of a specified event within a specified time. So a specified event within a specified time limit. ഒരു particular time ലിമിറ്റിൽ ഒരു ഇവന്റ് നടക്കുന്നു. So contingent, this is section 35. Very important, this chapter. Once again, I am telling you. So contingent contract to do or not to do anything if specified uncertain event happens within a fixed time becomes void if the expiration of the time fixed, a particular time, ഒരു സമയം കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആ സമയത്തിനുള്ളിൽ അത് നടത്തിയിരിക്കണം. After that, it may not become a void one, a valid one. It will become a void one. So such event has not happened, or if before the time fixed, such event becomes impossible. For example, A promises to pay B sum of money if a certain ship returns within a year. Ship returns within a year. ഒരു വർഷത്തിനുള്ളിൽ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു പറഞ്ഞ ഷിപ്പ് തിരികെ വരുവാണെങ്കിൽ then A agrees to pay B some money. The contract may be enforced if the ship returned within a year and becomes void if the ship sunk within a year. അപ്പോൾ ഓപ്പോസിറ്റ് കേസും പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, ഈ കോൺട്രാക്ട് എൻഫോഴ്സിബിൾ അണ്ടർ ദ ലോ ആകണമെങ്കിൽ എന്താണ്, ആ ഒരു പർട്ടിക്കുലർ ഷിപ്പ് എന്തിനുള്ളിൽ വരണം, വിത്തിൻ എ ഇയർ ദാറ്റ് ഷിപ്പ് ഈസ് കമ്മിങ് ബാക്ക്. അതർവൈസ് it will become, the contract becomes void when the ship becomes sunk. മുങ്ങിപ്പോയെങ്കിൽ within a year the ship sunk, so that is the specified or stipulated time period is what, within a year. That within a year the specified event is to be undertaken. What is that event? If the ship returns within a year, then A agreed to pay B the promise, like some amount of money. If the ship sunk within a year, then no need to pay because specified time period is there. Within a year is the time period. Within a year, both is happening. ഒന്നെങ്കിൽ ഷിപ്പ് തിരിച്ചു വന്നു, എ ബിക്ക് പൈസ കൊടുക്കുന്നു. ഷിപ്പ് തിരിച്ചു വരുന്നില്ല, പകരം മുങ്ങി പോവുകയാണെങ്കിലോ സ്പെസിഫൈഡ് ടൈം ലിമിറ്റ് ഉണ്ട്. ആ സ്പെസിഫൈഡ് ടൈം ലിമിറ്റ് ആ ഇവന്റ് cannot be going to happen. അല്ലേ? So such a case, A no need to pay money to B because it becomes void. അവിടെ specified time limit ഒരു event നടക്കുകയാണ്. So that is the case. So contract contingent upon the happening of a specified event within a fixed time. ഒരു particular time period ഒരു event നടക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ then that is the case. അപ്പോൾ എന്തൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടു? Contract contingent upon the happening of an event, section 32, non-happening of an event, section 33, then future conduct of a person, based on that the contingent contract to be enforced by law, then in such a case, what is that? Section 34. Then section 35 is contract contingent upon the happening of an event within a stipulated time period or specified time period. That is the fourth case, section 35. And then the fifth point is what? Fifth point, contingent upon the non-happening of a specified event within a fixed time period. So non-happening of an event within a specified time period. So that is the case. Non-happening of an event. The event is not going to happen within a stipulated time period. The contract will be enforceable. So contingent contracts to do or not to do anything. If a specified uncertain event does not happen within a fixed time, then it may be enforceable by law when the time fixed has expired and such event has not happened or before the time fixed has expired, if it becomes certain that such event will not happen. Appa point idu thanne undu. What is that? Non-happening of an event. Or event nadakkunnilla. So non-happening of an event within a specified time period. So section 35, this is also section 35 para 1. Contract Act in the section 35 para 1 ആണ്. ഇത് section 35 എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ specified event within a stipulated period of time. ഇവിടെ happening of a specified event ആണ് fourth point. Fifth point എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ non-happening of a specified event within a or non-happening of an event, specified event within a fixed time period. So we will look at where there is example or not. For example, A promises to be a sum of money if a certain ship does not return within a year or burned within a year. So two things are there. Ship cannot be coming back or burned. ഒന്നെങ്കിൽ ഫയർ ആയി പോകും, തീ പിടിച്ചു പോവോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ the ship within a stipulated time period it cannot come back. Then A agrees to pay B some money. The contract may be enforced if the ship does not return within a year or is burned within a year. So a contract, such a contract may be enforced if the ship does not return. അത് തിരികെ വന്നില്ല എങ്കിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ or burned within a year. ആ particular time period തന്നെ അത് തീ പിടിച്ചു പോവുകയാണെങ്കിൽ then this is the case. Section 35 para 1. Clear? A promises to pay B sum of money if a certain ship does not return within a year. So non-happening of an event within a year, it cannot come back. Come back, then no need to pay. It cannot come back, then need to pay. So in such a case, or it may sink or it may burn within a year, then the contract may be enforced. Enforced in the sense means to do that one. If the ship does not return within a year, ആ പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു വർഷം കഴിഞ്ഞു വരികയാണെങ്കിൽ A doesn't need to pay anything to B because in the contract it is specified that, what is that specified? If the ship within a year it is returned back, then A need to pay to B some amount. Okay, correct. Or if the ship burned during that time period, the time period specified is there. Within the time period this is happening, then the contract will be enforceable by law. The contract will be enforceable by law. So that is the case. So that is the which one? Fifth point, non-happening of an event within a stipulated time period or specified time period. And one more point is there, contingent contract upon the happening of an impossible event. Contingent contract upon the happening of an impossible event. So we will look into that. Sixth one, contingent contract upon the happening of an impossible event. Impossible. The event becomes impossible. It cannot be going to happen. Such a case, contract becomes enforceable by law. So, contingent contract to do or not to do anything, if an impossible event happens and are void, whether the impossibility of the event is known or not to the parties to the agreement at the time when it is made. For example, A agrees to pay B rupees 1000 if B will marry A's daughter C. A to B 1000 rupees agrees to pay, where B marry A's daughter C. C was dead at the time of the agreement. Then in such a case, agreement becomes void because the impossible event, നടക്കാത്ത കാര്യം എന്താ, എയുടെ ഡോട്ടർ സിയെ ബി മാരി ചെയ്യും. പക്ഷെ ഇവിടെ ആ സമയത്തേക്ക് ആ എഗ്രിമെന്റ് വെച്ചപ്പോൾ തന്നെ സി മരിച്ചു പോയെങ്കിൽ ദസ് ഇമ്പോസിബിൾ ഇവന്റ് ഈസ് വാട്ട്, ബി ഈസ് ഗോയിങ് ടു മാരി സി എസ് ഡോട്ടർ. ക്ലിയർ? So this is the impossible event, and happening of this impossible event, in such a case, no need to pay anything there. 1000 രൂപ കൊടുക്കേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല. കാരണം എന്താ, B agrees to pay, A agrees to pay B rupees 1000 when B marry A's daughter C. At the time of the agreement, C becomes dead. മരിച്ചുപോയി. Such a case, this event doesn't happen. Impossible event is there. So based on the impossible event, the contract is cannot enforceable by law and it becomes a void one. So these are the rules relating to contingent contract. Section 32, where contingent contract based on the happening of an event. Section 33 based on the non-happening of an event. Then Section 34, what is that? Future conduct of a person. Then Section 35, upon the happening of a specified event over a specified period of time. Then Section 35, para 1, contingent upon non-happening of a specified event upon a stipulated period of time. And finally, upon the impossibility, okay, happening of an impossible event. നടക്കുകയില്ല എന്ന് വെക്കുന്ന കാര്യം നടക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ, in such a case it becomes enforceable by law, but it can never happen. In such a case, such contract becomes void. So these are the rules with relate to which one? These are the rules with relate to contingent contract. Means the contract to do or not to do based on the happening of an event that is collateral to the contract. Happening of the event collateral to the contract. പറഞ്ഞു മനസ്സിലായോ? അതാണ് contingent contract എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So in continuation with that, so we see what is a contingent contract, and next is what are the differences between a wager and a contingent contract, or wagering agreement and a contingent contract. What are the differences? We will see that one. So a wagering agreement consists of a reciprocal promises, whereas a contingent contract may not contain any reciprocal promises. So wagering contingent, where here reciprocal promises, non-reciprocal promises. Non-reciprocal promises means it may not contain any reciprocal promises because it executes become on the execution based on the performance or by the other party. അതാണ് contingent contract എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ. Happening of an event. Based on the happening of an event, the contract is to be executed. That is contingent contract. While wager, there also may or may not happen. അവിടെയും event may or may not happen. But there is reciprocal promises. Promise ഉണ്ട്. ഞാൻ ഇത് ചെയ്യാം. ചെയ്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എനിക്ക് ഇത്രയും നീ രൂപ തരണം. പറഞ്ഞാൽ മനസ്സിലായോ? അതാണ്. എന്നാൽ ഇതിനകത്ത് there is non-reciprocal where happening of the event, based on the happening of the event, the thing is to be executed. അതാണ് ഓർക്കേണ്ടത്. Then, in a wagering agreement, the parties have no other interest in the subject matter of the agreement except the winning or losing of the amount of the wager. Bet വെക്കുമ്പോൾ ആ പൈസ കിട്ടാനായിട്ടാണ് നോക്കുന്നത്. അല്ലാതെ അവിടെ happen interest in the subject matter. ഇന്ന കാര്യം ചെയ്യുമെന്നുള്ളതിനല്ല. എന്തിനാണ് ബെറ്റ് വെച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്? പന്തയം വെക്കുമ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു പന്തയത്തിന്റെ ഇതില് അതിനാണ് ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് കൊടുക്കുന്നത്. എന്നാൽ contingent contract, parties may have some interest in the subject matter. So second point, no interest in subject matter while there is interest in subject matter. So that is the second point, where no interest in the subject matter, only where winning or losing that particular thing, the amount. അതാണല്ലോ ബെറ്റ് വെച്ചാൽ എന്താ? ആ ബെറ്റ് വെച്ചത് ആ എമൗണ്ട് കിട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് അവിടെ ഇത് നടക്കുന്നത്. അതിനകത്ത് വിന്നും ഉണ്ട് ലോസും ഉണ്ട്. എന്നാൽ ഇതിനകത്തോ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് ഈസ് വിത്ത് സബ്ജക്ട് മാറ്റർ. എന്താണ് നടക്കുന്നത് എന്നുള്ളതിനാണ്, അല്ലാതെ അവിടെ ബെറ്റ് വെക്കുന്ന പോലെയുള്ള ഇതിനല്ല. So that is the wagering agreement where only interest is with the winning or losing that particular amount based on the wager, while in contingent contract the interest is with the subject matter. Then the third one, wagering agreements are contingent in nature while contingent contracts are not wagering in nature. ഇവിടെ bet ഇല്ല. Happening of an event, അതിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും നടക്കുന്നത്. So not wagering in nature, while this one contingent in nature. So contingent in nature where not wagering in nature. അതായത് ഇവിടെ happening of an event, based on the happening of an event, that particular person may win or lose the bet. ആ ഒരു സംഭവം നടന്നാൽ എനിക്ക് ഇത്ര പൈസ കിട്ടും, നടന്നില്ലേല് പൈസ ഇല്ല. So that is the agreement in the wagering contract where it is contingent in nature, while in the contingent contract it is not wagering, because happening of an event, based on the happening, the promise need to be executed. If the event doesn't happen, promise no need to pay. Clear? So that is the contingent as well as wagering. And a wagering agreement is void while a contingent contract is valid one. So it is a void one because if the event is happen, then only that bet is going to be win or lose. If the event doesn't happen, it may not be executed. While contingent contract, it is valid in nature, but in some cases it is void one, like you see before. So a wagering contract is becomes, or a wagering agreement is a void one, while a contingent contract will become a valid one. And the fifth point is what? Fifth point is wagering agreement, the future event is the sole determining factor. ഭാവിയിലേക്കുള്ളത് എന്താണ് നടക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത് എന്നുള്ളത്, that is the sole determining factor. Sole determining factor. While contingent contract, the future event is collateral. Collateral to the contract. Collateral to the contract. So these are the differences between a wagering agreement and a contingent contract. What are it? It is reciprocal promises are there, where non-reciprocal promises are there. Interest In case of the subject matter, interest is not in the subject matter, but only to win or lose the bet or the wager, amount of the wager. While interest is the main thing with regard to subject matter. Interest in with the parties may have some interest in subject matter. While contingent in nature, while not wagering in nature. While a wagering agreement is a void one, while a contingent contract is a valid one. And fifth point is future event. In case of a future event, the sole determining factor is in the wagering agreement. അതായത് ഭാവിയിലേക്ക് നടക്കാൻ പോകുന്ന ഒരു ഇതാണെങ്കിൽ അതിനകത്ത് എന്താ the sole determining, the main key thing is to be going to happen. അതാണ് wagering agreement. While contingent contract, it is collateral to the event happening. So collateral to the event happening. So today we see a contingent contract and what are the rules regarding the contingent contract and what are the differences between a wagering contract and a wagering agreement and a contingent contract. So please have a look at these things, and if anybody is having any doubt, please let me know. I will share this thing through the WhatsApp later. Thank you.